The Liberals want new Conservative Leader Erin O'Toole to kick Ontario MP Derek Sloan out of the Tory caucus, and they're asking Canadians to support that call. Take a look at this. The Liberal Party tweeted out a link to this petition earlier today, listing off all of the reasons Sloan should be booted from caucus, including past comments comparing a woman's right to choose to pro-slavery arguments, supporting conversion therapy for LGBTQ youth, and questioning Dr. Theresa Tam's loyalty to Canada. Conservatives are holding a Zoom caucus as we speak. Will keeping Derek Sloan alienate the soft Liberal voters? Erin O'Toole is trying to attract. I'm here with the power panel, Tim, Kathleen, Amanda, and Sherelle. Sherelle, I'll start with you. How big of an issue do you think this is for Erin O'Toole?
Well, it'll be as big of an issue as he lets it be, I think, because the Liberals are really going to hammer at this to kind of say, we won't let this go, and we were going to paint you as this, you're this new leader of the Conservative Party, but you're also kind of the boogeyman. So you have to deal with this, you being Erin O'Toole, or else, this is just going to haunt you and follow you. He could, calm the waters by, I suppose, not addressing it, but he kind of plays into a bit of a Liberal trap, because it's basically a double-edged sword. He either has to say, you know what, you caught me, I'm two-faced, I really wanted the social conservative support during the race, and now I'm going to boot, well, he can't actually boot Derek Sloan, but I'm going to take steps to have Derek Sloan removed from caucus, and that will completely, ostracize that side of the base, or I'm going to live up to what the Liberals are making me out to be.
Tim, what do you think Mr. O'Toole should do? And I should point out that yesterday he got a few questions on this from reporters, and it was sort of interesting the way he framed it. I thought it was actually, he didn't directly speak to the idea of getting rid of Mr. Sloan or of dismissing him completely. He sort of said they had differences of approaching things. I'm paraphrasing right now, but I remember he didn't say this guy is totally the opposite of me, I disown everything he's ever said. He said they had strong disagreements on policy positions, but and they had different ways of approaching things, and then he sort of left it alone, and then talked about bringing the other two competitors in the leadership race, Leslyn Lewis and Peter MacKay, into the fold, and didn't really address whether or not Derek Sloan would come into the fold. How do you think he should go about handling this?
Well, I think he should view it as an opportunity and not a threat. This is hardly surprising, right? I think as soon as Mr. O'Toole was elected on Monday morning at 1:30 a.m. or whatever wonderful time it was, there were already critiques from the Liberals floating out there about the social conservative underpinnings of the party and the nasty, evil Tories as a consequence of that, and all rights were going to be seized. I don't think he's necessarily going to take Pam Denhoff's advice. I'd be very surprised if took that directly, because the Liberal Party is petitioning for a Conservative MP to step down. I think he needs to take his time a little bit here. He perhaps needs to do what was done before and let his caucus play a role in all of this. You'll remember there was a caucus meeting after Mr. Sloan went after Dr. Tam. And there was a major push at that time to get him out. He's got to manage that a little bit, but I do think he's already done a slightly better job than Andrew Scheer did. Not that that was difficult, but it was good to see him yesterday openly, speaking about his views, being a pro-choice MP and some of the issues of rights that he has supported for the LGBTQ community, and he was comfortable doing that. So I think he just needs to let this play out a little bit. I don't think it's going to be fatal to him, but I think let it play out and use it to your advantage. And if you do want to get rid of Mr. Sloan, don't do it at Ms. Denhoff's urging. Wait a few days and let your caucus do the work for you.
Amanda, a bit of a counterintuitive question, but say Mr. O'Toole went to you and said, "What's your advice on this issue?"
Don't risk that happening.
Yeah, I'm sure it's about to happen anyway. But say it did happen. Just in an effort right now to take away our partisan hats, what would you tell him to do?
Well, like the Derek Sloans of the world is like the albatross of a party, right? Like they're the things, they're like an open gaping wound. They're totally problematic. They cause more trouble than they're worth. Their views, which they now have this huge platform on Twitter in order to like share it with the world all the time, are the things that can really hang you. At the same time, the problem that Erin O'Toole has is that Derek Sloan is not a nobody in the party. I mean, he acquired 15.6% of the popular vote on the first ballot. So he's not super fringe that he's a sliver. He's actually representative of some of the base, a relatively, significant portion of the base who at least shares some of these views or values, or is okay with the fact that he does. So what I would say to Erin O'Toole, should Erin O'Toole ever want to chat, is no, obviously he can't take the liberal trap right now. He can't walk into it and fire Derek Sloan. Not that he could anyways. He doesn't have the jurisdiction to do that. But I do think that in an effort to move more toward the center in order to attract more Canadians to the party, he has to be seen to be able to stand up and stand for values that are more reflective of Canadians. I do think that he did start to do that yesterday. So I agree with Tim. I think that the first approach, the steps that he's taken have been the right ones, but will it be enough when he has Derek Sloan kind of over here in the corner?
Kathleen, what do you think?
I would love to answer that question that you just posed, Amanda. Yeah, I would advise O'Toole for sure. The first thing he's got to do is hold the line with the parliamentary press gallery. He has to give them not an inch in terms of they're going to ask him this question at every opportunity in the next few weeks. And he just has to keep on giving very neutral, know-nothing answers. And then once he's able to neutralize, hopefully, the pack of wolves that is the parliamentary press gallery, and that is their job, is to do that. He needs to then turn inwards and use some of the tools that he does have available to him as leader, right? As leader, there are tools available to you, taking away things like caucus, critic roles, roles within the party, possibly not signing nomination papers. There have been many examples, particularly in the Conservative caucus I can name, of where previous Conservative leaders have successfully basically locked up problematic MPs in deep freezers until they've rehabilitated themselves and their reputation and have more towed the line. If Mr. Sloan chooses to be more problematic and say statements like he did about Dr. Tam and others, and making claims that we should withdraw from the Paris Climate Treaty and defund the World Health Organization, I think at some point Mr. O'Toole on his own time and own schedule will have to address whether Mr. Sloan stays in caucus.
Okay, I'll leave it there. That's a lot of free advice. Thanks, guys. Appreciate the discussion as always tonight. Thanks to our power panel, Amanda Alvaro, Kathleen Monk, Sherelle Evelyn, and Tim Powers.